Hello again, and welcome back to Project Planetree. You probably remember when the first episode, when I was bringing in the boat, I made my own jack stands, and I used this Lincoln SP135 MIG welder to do it, and they turned out really good. And since then, I've worked on a few other projects. Paul and I put a jack on the front of a trailer, and I've had some little brackets I made to help hold things. But the interesting thing is that each one of those projects, my welding is beginning to look worse and worse after each one of them. And that's exact opposite of what you would expect. You would think the more you do something, the better you would get. But no, mine was looking worse. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's the machine. I was thinking, well, that's probably what every rook says, is that, oh, it's the machine, it's not me. But it was. Let me show you what I found. Yeah, so that is Lincoln shielded gas, is a shielded gas MIG welder. It's an SP135 Plus by Lincoln. And I have one just like this. This one's Paul. I have one almost exactly like it. I've never even used it because Paul's is here. And I guess if this one kicks the bucket, I'll just bring mine and replace it. But I want to make sure that, that we have a real actual problem first. It could be me. It could be my welds just look terrible. I'm not a welder. There you go. Okay, let's do the big lift. This thing I remember isn't heavy, isn't light. Not in bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Now I'm going to hook it back up, because I suspect if the welds, the way they're looking real splattery. And since it's a shielded gas welder and the tip is clean, maybe I'm not getting gas. So I got to figure that out too. Turn the gas on. Make sure it's actually on. Yep, it is. All the way on. And let's put some power to it. I could use a dust wash wiped off of it. Nothing. Why am I getting nothing? Well, it gave me more than that before, just crappy welds, but now it does nothing. What could be wrong? All it is, picked it up and put it on a bench. I may have tripped this. Yeah, I bet it's what it is. There's always that. There you go. It wasn't tripped, just wasn't pushed, the plug wasn't pushed in. See, that's what I hear. See if you can hear it too. I got the mic here. I put the mic next to it. Listen to this. You got a machine. Machine's running. Move away from the machine so you have less noise. Let's move over here. Listen. I'm not hearing argon. Oh, this is argon mix here. I'm not hearing the gas. I don't know what percentage that is. 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide. Okay, but yeah, I'm not hearing it. Yeah, it's not. I don't believe it's feeding anything. So, first things first, turn it back off. Oh, a little sparky there. Unplug it. That's what I thought. I know that if you leave these things setting for a long time, a couple of things happen. Number one, and the most obvious is that this hose that the wire comes through, it eventually, the air, you know, that with the shielded gas that comes from the tank, you know, it's no longer there, it leaks out. And you have to, when you first start, you have to hold it down and allow that gas to flow through the machine before you start. And you'll have to waste a little wire to do that, to hold it down and run it for a while. But this, I don't hear it ever blowing out at all, so it's not gonna purge if it's not providing gas at all. So let's look at that, see what the story is. Turn around this way, I can see it a little easier. How can I get to it? I thought that was how I got to it. Yeah, get to the door. Nope. Nope. They don't allow you to get to the valve from the, I'll have to take some screws out. 1, 2, there's a few screws there. Let's get rid of those. Get as a parts bucket. These are the containers I get meals in, and when I'm through, they make great parts buckets. Just as an extra. Rectification, and we got the main power transformer. Where's the valve? There it is. That's the little solenoid valve right there. I'll have to study that in just a little bit. But until then, let me just look for the obvious. So if we're lucky, it's just the switch. Or even better would be if it's just a bad connection to the switch. Okay, test the meter first. Works good. Now we're going to test our switch. Well, that circuit checks out. Listen to this, you can hear it. So when I push on a button, so it works. So it's not the switch, it's not those connectors. So let's read it down a little further, see where it's breaking down. I want to find out where that goes to. I wonder if it's on this schematic. The gun trigger. There's a thermostat mounted to the diode heat sink, so that could be bad. So it goes from there to a diode heat sink thermostat, this right here. So it's not going to feed unless that, but I doubt it's that because it will weld, and surely it wouldn't allow it to I take off the connection to it because I don't want to read back through the circuit. Thermostat's fine. So the next thing it will see, it will go through 213A and 211. And the gas solenoid is 7 and 32 off of the board. So we really got to test to see that's the output to the gas solenoid. So right here, these two guys right here, and I saw the same size wire, these are the outputs to it. So in theory, there should be voltage going to the solenoid valve, which is right here in the back. And when we push that button, unless there's something wrong with the control board, I suspect not, because after a while, after using it, the welds would get better. And you know, he said, well, maybe just getting warmed up. No, I think I heard the gas. I could hear it, I think, but I could be wrong. But it seems like I could. Okay, so let's put it back together and test, get some power for that. 460 ohms. 100 volts AC to start with. You never know. And okay, so we got that hooked up. All that's connected back. We know that we're hooked to the right connections. They're not shorted. There's the trigger and the plug. All I need to do is hook power to it. Turn the current in the feed down to nothing, or as little as I can, so I'm not wasting a lot of material. When I push this, I see something changing. It says volts DC. There's AC, I had it wrong with dial. 4.4 volts now. Push the button, 115 volts. So we're working. That valve just isn't working. I just clicked. Turn this up so maybe we can hear the gas. I'm not clicking anymore though. Yeah, it's just not working. That valve is what's bad, and that's what I suspected. So let's see if we can fix the valve, or if I have to replace the valve. I hope we can fix it. Let's take this back off. So we got to clean that valve out. It probably just needs to be cleaned. I'm going to take it out to do it though. Well, it looks like a pain to get to though. If I don't have to disassemble the whole thing to get to that valve. Right now we got the valve back so I can remove this fitting. Oh, come on, loose. Probably break the valve trying to get the fitting loose, but it came loose. Well, that green stuff, I don't know if it's Loctite or what it is that's in there, but there's a lot of it. I mean, and I suspect that's what our problem is. maybe it's an excellent candidate for our WD-42. There we go, finally. Yeah. There's our valve. And it is not too bad. Not terrible. I mean, the green stuff doesn't, I don't see it down in there deep. That's what I was expecting to see. I'm going to heat that hose. So there it is. I don't really see a whole lot inside. Some of that green I do see in there. It wouldn't take much. So I got to do what I can to this valve. So it looks like, yeah, I did it. If you watch, I don't know if I can get the video or I can see it. I'll put the video over here, you can see it here. So I put plenty of oil in there. I'm gonna push a button. Put a little more oil in it. Push the button. Every time it drains out nicely. That's all it needed. I'm going to keep flushing it through a little more at a time until I get it where it needs to be. That is a mess. I don't know what that green stuff is. I think it's some kind of Loctite thread sealer that they used to seal the threads, and they allowed it to, they put so much of it on there. I mean, let's show you what it looks like. There's just got some WD-42 on the end there. That green stuff, I don't know what that is, but it's, I mean, it's caked in there. I don't know if it's possible to catch the view of what that stuff looks like. It's all in there though. It's not a little bit, it's a lot. So I knew my welding was terrible. I don't do a really great job of welding. I do, you know, I say terrible, it's not terrible, but you know, when I saw it, it was splattering a lot, you know, and this is shielded gas. That's its whole purpose of the shielded gas is it protects the arc and your puddle from the exposure of atmosphere. And if it's a headache atmosphere, it would sputter, which is exactly what it was doing. And so anyway, that was why I kind of suspected it. And you can't hear much. It's not easy to hear that gas going through it, but I thought I could hear it. Now you can. Now that it's actually working, you definitely can tell it. But, you know, I wasn't sure, you know. Need to like an outside. Oh, it's like this. Especially this. Here you can need to do this. Here's the parts. I'm going to imagine how it goes. No, not yet. Doesn't work yet. All right. Oh, here's that wait. He's a fitting. Oh, what happened? Oh my! Stepped on the cable. So anyway, yeah, it's not like it's hard to hear. Hear it? You can hear the gas go through it. Before we could hear nothing. Oh yeah, much better. Woo! Well, I think that did the trick. I've used the machine a couple of times since then, and seems to be working. You know, yeah, all along this problem was, you know, coming and going, and I would adjust the machine thinking that it was the machine, and the problem would go away, and I thought it was my adjustments, but all along it was that valve. And I get the feeling this is probably not the only machine in the world suffering from this. Anyway, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Project Planetree.